Welcome to Real McCoy TV, where faith intertwines with daily life, empowering us to inspire positive change. Our mission is not just to share our story, but to uplift our community and celebrate
We
authentic
here.
tales of faith and family. Journey with us
Yes,
and
baby.
witness Cleveland's vibrant sports scene alongside heartwarming church events and cherished family moments, all showcasing our shared values. New content graces your screens every Tuesday,
Right now,
Wednesday, and
set up.
Saturday evenings, making it easy to
Tour.
engage with us on this enlightening adventure. We invite you to be part of the Real McCoy experience. Whether you wish to call in, join discussions, or collaborate, your voice matters. Plus, support our mission through Cash App, GoFundMe, or Patreon. Together, we create a thriving community of faith and support where every contribution counts.
Yeah. Look, y'all, we here, man. I ain't gonna waste too much of y'all time. I got the Speed on Hoop venue, which I'm gonna subscribe to them. They say everything you need to know before Knicks and Cavs. Everything you need to know before Knicks and Cavs. We gonna see. We gonna run through it. I'm looking forward to this series. I got Cavs in 5. More than likely it'll go 6, but I think the Cavs really gonna shock them. They gonna come out. I think they figuring out how to play with each other. I think Harden, no turnovers, playmaker Mitch, some contribution from Strus and Merrill. Game 7, Jared Allen sprinkled in there. I don't think the Cavs really beatable, man. We gonna see how it play out. We see what's going on out there with San Antonio and OKC. Spurs took that dub. Can't say I was really expecting that, but I didn't really expect. I thought the Cavs was out, so they showed me something, and I think they done figured out how to play with each other, man. We're gonna listen to the homie and we're gonna get some predictions in, man. Put y'all predictions in the chat. Let me know where y'all tuning in from. Let's get it.
Has been set for the Eastern Conference Finals. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and the Cavs have everything to prove. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks are just 4 wins away from bringing the mecca of basketball back to the NBA Finals for the first time in nearly 30 years. Both rosters are loaded with all-star level talent. These may be the 2 best offenses in the entire playoffs. So what can we expect to see in this matchup? How can each team gain the upper hand? And who's punching their ticket to the NBA Finals? These are the questions we're going to be answering in today's video, brought to you by PrizePicks. Historically, game planning against the Knicks had been all about figuring out how to approach Brunson ball. While that's still a major part of it, it's a lot different than what it was in prior years, and we'll talk about why that is in a bit. First, I want to highlight how the Knicks have completely revamped their offense. They spent this season going through a transformation, and while there were ups and downs, they're peaking at the best possible time. Through 2 rounds, they've scored almost 127 points every 100 possessions. That's about 12 points better than what their opponents typically allowed, enough to make them one of the 10 most efficient playoff offenses in NBA history. Even more impressive than the average, though, is the ceiling they're capable of hitting once everything starts to click.
All right, I didn't realize they was doing it like that. Didn't realize they was getting it like that. Man, we might be in trouble, Cavs.
Close out Game 6 against the Hawks, they scored 83 points in the first half. That's tied for the 3rd most ever by a team in the first half of a playoff game. A few days later, to open the second round against Philly, they scored 74 points in the first half. Then, to close them out in a 4-game sweep, an 81-point first half. They get on these untouchable heaters, and while outlier shot making has to do with it, it's been more about their ability to generate easy shots. This big shift in their approach has been the result of running more offense through Cat as a passing hub. They'll often start possessions by getting him the ball up top, then setting up some sort of screening action to put off-ball pressure on the paint. Because Cat's the best 3-point shooting big we've ever seen, when he has the ball, whoever's guarding him has to be up in his airspace. Not too close, though. As soon as he gets defended too tightly, he's putting the ball down on a drive where he's a walking mismatch. You have to guard him with somebody quick enough to cut off his driving angles while also being sturdy enough to hold their ground against his bumps. Not many teams have somebody who can do this. As for the Cavs, I'm expecting them to switch between Jared Allen and Evan Mobley at different points throughout the series. Mobley's got quicker feet and better hip mobility, so he can do a better job of containing the ball. Allen still moves pretty well, though, and he's got a sturdier frame. At times, it'll make more sense to meet Cat with size. Both are incredibly lengthy and incredible rim protectors. For the most part, they should be able to hold their own. That's not the problem, though. When Cat plays from up top and pulls a rim protector to the 3-point line, it's protecting the paint from cutters that you have to worry about. He's a very good passer from a standstill, using his height to see over the defense and locate cutters, and countering certain coverages by skipping the ball cross court to open shooters. In the playoffs, he's been operating at another level. He's averaging over 8.5 assists every 75 possessions. The only player to average more through the first 2 rounds was Nikola Jokic. Between the spacing and passing, it's so easy for them to find great offense. Just get Cat the ball, go set some screens, and the defense is forced to answer impossible questions. Let's start with the cutters. Mikal and OG are both lengthy, athletic wings with great instincts who can finish at the rim. But both can just as easily set a screen and pop to the corner, where they both make over 40% of their threes. Or they can switch it up and have them run around a screen to get free on the 3-point line or from mid-range. If you play the jumper, both can handle the ball and make decisions. What makes this especially tough to defend is that Brunson's almost always involved. He's often the one setting back screens or sprinting off a screen to force the defense into a bind, and it's quite the bind. Let's back up for a second. I brought up Brunson ball earlier. What I mean by that is a heavy diet of perimeter isolation and spread pick and roll running through Brunson, who's one of the best on-ball creators of the last decade. In order to limit these actions, you have to have a big physical wing pressuring him at all times. And the guy for Cleveland will more than likely be Dean Wade. Guys like Max Strus and Dennis Schroeder will get lots of burn, but their best option is Wade, a 6'9", agile forward who can hound Brunson in space, hold his ground against bumps, and stay attached to him. Here's the problem. Because of how involved Brunson is in off-ball screening action, Wade's going to have to make really tough decisions. Oftentimes, the only way to defend these screens without giving up a layup or a corner three is to switch. And what does that mean for the Cavs? Harden or Mitchell getting moved on to Brunson early in the shot clock, to which they'll immediately turn back to Brunson ball against the mismatch. The idea here is that New York always has a button they can push. On possessions that start with Cat holding the ball up top, you have to figure out how to defend him one-on-one. Behind the play, you have to defend off-ball screens without giving up a cut or an open three while keeping the matchup you want. Even if you do that successfully, they can just go to the two-man game. Because they have so many capable playmakers and scorers, they're comfortable letting anybody handle the ball in these situations. All Cat has to do is pick and pop to stress the defense. Does the big switch? Does he drop? Does he show and recover? You probably don't want these big wings turning the corner with an advantage. And you definitely don't want Brunson turning the corner with even a lick of space to attack. The Cavs aren't a team loaded with perimeter defenders. You just can't rely on Harden or Mitchell to fight through screens and protect the paint. I think the Cavs have a few options. One option is to have the big play the ball in something like a high drop, then have somebody on the perimeter close out to Cat while everybody else rotates one pass over. That would lead to mismatches, but it would at least negate any immediate threats. Another option is to have the big drop, then try to recover to the pop himself. Make Cat prove that he'll take a high volume of threes against closeouts. The third option is to switch. Neutralize the two-man game completely by just switching every screen. Stagnate the offense, and force the Knicks to beat you one-on-one. The fourth and final option, in my opinion, would be to have the big ignore the ball completely and instead bring help from elsewhere. You'd only be able to do that in double big lineups though, which is the luxury of having two elite rim protectors on the court. In game one, what I'm expecting the Cavs to do is put Jarrett Allen on Cat with Evan Mobley on Josh Hart. Mobley's going to be spying on these actions like a free safety, roaming off of Hart to play the cut while Wade stays attached to Brunson. Because you're forced to pick a poison against the Knicks, the poison that teams are usually most comfortable picking is a Josh Hart three-pointer. He just had the best three-point shooting season of his career, making 41.3% of these shots on over 3.5 attempts a game. However, that's fallen off a cliff in the playoffs, as he's made just 27.5% on 4 attempts a game. The version of Hart as a shooter that shows up in the series could be something to look for. I just wonder how much it even matters, because at this point, they've seen these looks so many times that they know how to counter them. Instead of spotting Hart up and letting the defense dictate things, they'll mix it up. Sometimes you'll see Hart initiate these actions. He's a great passer, and there's nobody else to help off of. Mobley could neutralize that, though, by dropping way back and only guarding the pass, to which the Knicks can get even more creative. They'll either have somebody screen Mobley to get Hart going downhill or force a switch, or they'll have Hart screen. He can screen for a cutter, a shooter, or even the ball. That way, Mobley has to defend action instead of freely roaming.
Hey Google, what's the fastest way to the pier?
Commercial, y'all. I'm sorry, commercial.
There's so much for your family to discover on Disney Plus.
You see, it's not about the suits. It's about the heroes who wear them.
Oh, let's
This takes me back to what I said about the variety within their offense. In their starting and closing lineups, they have 5 players who can legitimately handle the ball, attack, and make decisions. That goes into the bench as well. Say, hypothetically, they're struggling to handle the Mobley matchup with Hart. They can replace him with a legit volume shooter in Landry Shamet or Deuce McBride, who have shown they can make over 40% of their threes. Now we're talking about high-level 5-out, and still, guys who can make decisions off the dribble. Or say, hypothetically, the Knicks get more shooters on the court, and the Cavs are able to completely neutralize the cat-centric offense. That's when they'll push the Brunson button. Actually, that's the style of offense they run literally anytime Mitchell Robinson's in the game. Things immediately turn spread pick and roll centric, where, like I said, he's one of the best creators in the league. That starts with his handle. He's unfazed by pressure, never picks up his dribble early, and gets wherever he wants to go on the court without turning it over. Most importantly, though, he doesn't let the defense dictate where he goes with it. He's the best player in the league at rejecting screens. His defender almost has to push him into the screen, let him use it and turn the corner. Then he applies pressure at all 3 levels. Over the last 3 seasons, he's made 38% of his pull-up threes, and that's a heavy 38%. He's actively hunting for the shot, even in tight windows. If you don't make a deliberate effort to run him off the line, he'll make you pay. If the Cavs go to a drop, his defender has to do a good job of chasing him over the top of screens and funneling him inside the arc. Only that creates an entirely new set of problems. Unless the Cavs have 2 bigs on the court, they don't have a secondary rim protector. Now you've got Brunson getting downhill, next to a lob threat, surrounded by shooters. He's going to make the right decisions, whether that means calling his own number, kicking it to the corner, and even if they miss, they absolutely own the glass. For that reason, I'm not sure how much the Cavs will be able to switch, especially when Mitchell Robinson's out there. If you don't have a big in the paint to close possessions, he'll absolutely dominate. Remember the 2023 playoffs? It was his work on the offensive glass that led to Jarrett Allen saying that the lights were brighter than he expected. His presence as an offensive rebounder makes it harder to bring help, especially for a team like the Cavs that's often running lineups with 1 rim protector and 1 rebounder. While they aren't by any means a bad rebounding team, they don't have any big forwards. And even if they're able to play Robinson off the court with a hack-a-Mitch strategy, the Knicks will find ways to put pressure on the glass. That could mean giving more minutes to Cat. He's good for 3 or 4 offensive rebounds a game. It could mean turning to Ariel Hukporti, another monster on the offensive glass. Sometimes it's the wings you have to worry about the most, though. Jordan Clarkson, in particular, has been crashing relentlessly. Josh Hart and OG can also create second chances. For the Cavs in this series, box outs are going to be everything. I could easily see a scenario where things get out of hand and the Knicks start to get tons.
All right, look, y'all, man. So far, this is the most the Cavs not had to worry about. I'm looking at the numbers, man. The people that don't even play shooting crazy off the bench. We in for hopefully a great series. After looking at some of these numbers, I ain't really looking at New York. I ain't been scared of them. Even before the trade. I wasn't scared of them. I don't know now. I'm not scared of them, but they formidable. Homie breaking down their strategy. If he can break down their strategy, I know the Cavs can break down their strategy. But like, man, damn. This why everybody think the Cavs is this why everybody think the Cavs about to lose? Do everybody feel like homie? Damn.
And the last thing Cleveland wants is to be forced to play Thomas Bryant just because they can't rebound. The thing about this New York offense, though, is that they don't need size on the court. We've seen
man.
from the playoffs.
Brewski,
OG get the
early to his 8
against the Cavs as well. There are just so many levers for them to pull. Let's say, again, hypothetically, that Cleveland has a flawless defensive performance, at least from an execution standpoint. They find a way to protect the paint from cat-centric offense and Brunson's pick-and-roll game without giving up threes or offensive rebounds. The Knicks can always start to mismatch hunt and run more guard-to-guard action with McHale, Shannon, or whoever screening for Brunson to get a switch he wants. In that 5-out space or 4-out 1-in looks, they can empty a side of the court for Brunson to walk a mismatch down one-on-one. That's usually how he close games in the clutch, with him doing his best impression of Mariano Rivera. At that point, does Dean Wade even matter? Sure, he'd hold up better against Brunson than a guy like Max Strus, but I think the Cavs will choose the offensive boost because as things currently stand, I'm really not sure how you meaningfully slow this offense down. They're too talented for a team fielding out lineups with weak defensive backcourts and smaller forwards. Even if you get Schroeder or Keon Ellis on the court, it doesn't solve the core issue that on the wings they're too big and too skilled. They have too much space to operate, too many methods for putting pressure on the rim, too many ways to find mismatches, and too many counters.
Too many ways?
The section of Mobley and Allen's work in the middle will be key. I think there are ways to make them uncomfortable. You just have to limit the easy stuff. No layups, no offensive rebounds. If Brunson beats you as a shot maker, so be it. That's a lot easier said than done, though. And it's pretty obvious to me that Cleveland's going to have to win this series on offense. Real quick, before we get into that, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video.
Man, fuck your sponsors. Fuck your sponsors. Fuck your sponsors, man. He ain't talked about Cleveland yet, man. I don't listen to. At least I got some scouting in. Damn, am I tripping? I didn't think the Knicks was like this. Am I tripping? They pulled up in our spaces. Talking crazy. They lady fans was in the spaces talking crazy. On paper, which is good because I do think that I don't think the Knicks are as good as the Spurs or OKC. So get the Cavs a little taste. You know what I'm saying? Get the Cavs a little taste of some. It's been going up in competition. We only got 8 more minutes on here. It should be quicker. I got it fast.
If you sign up for PrizePicks with code HMA and play $5, you get $50 in lineups instantly. So either download the app or click the link in the description to get started. And let me hear your picks down in the comments. The Knicks aren't the only dominant offense in this matchup.
Yeah.
The Cavs also have the versatility to counter just about anything, which really stood out against the Pistons after game 2.
And that's why I'm really hype on the Cavs in this because there is no one way for the Cavs to win. How many games did we win where Mitchell didn't play good? Harden didn't play good. Mobley arguably played good. Jared Allen arguably disappeared. You see what happened when we get some Strus and some Merrill and some Schroeder. You see what happened. You see what happens. Them all 3 off the bench. That's our top 8. It's messed up. Everybody coming off the bench is Dean Wade don't score no points, but he played defense. But I think the Cavs are more versatile. Like I think based off the course of the duties, right? We got all these tasks. We got to shut these people down. We got to shut down Jalen Brunson. I'm sorry. We got to shut down Hart. We got to shut down all these people. I think at the end of it, when everybody tired and breathing, I think the Cavs will be able to have more for sure options. I think they for sure options is Cat and Brunson, and not even in that order. They run the cat stuff first, based off this breakdown. They run the cat stuff first, and then it defaults to Brunson. So it's still the Brunson game. So I'm not scared of them, but I just saw their numbers. But we talking about the Cavs now.
They figured him out, posting at least a 120 offensive rating in 4 out of the next 5 games. Keep in mind, Detroit was an all-time defense. Cleveland's approach is built around the high pick and roll, running things through Harden and Mitchell with a spread floor. Defensively, I'm expecting the Knicks to do a lot of what the Pistons did. Against double big lineups,
I'm really hoping that the disparity in competition plays a factor into this Eastern Conference Finals. Like, I feel like, no offense to the Knicks, because the Knicks are good, but I think they had an easier role. I think we had the harder defenses. But the one thing I do want to say before we even get too late in this, before I forget, I do want to say that a huge factor in this is the Cavs suck at guarding the 3-point line, and the Knicks, they willing. They willing.
Harris on Mobley, and for the most part switched every screen. The Cavs attacked that by having Harden hunt for the Tobias matchup and play one-on-one. With New York, though, that's going to be OG and Anunoby. When he switches, that's not a matchup to attack one-on-one. He should be able to neutralize Mobley's pick-and-roll game while also limiting isolation play. Much like the second round, I'm expecting Jared Allen to be the primary screen. The Pistons mixed up coverages. For the most part, they wanted to ice the screen, pushing the ball handler towards the sideline where a big was waiting to pick him up in high drop coverage. This is a look that the Knicks have gone to a lot in the past. Even if they aren't icing, though, I'm expecting to see Cat up near the level of the screen in that higher drop. You can't let them turn the corner and step into pull-up threes, and you need to keep a body in front of the drive. Throughout this season, Cat's gotten a lot better at drop. However, he still lacks the foot speed and verticality to consistently handle one-on-2 situations, especially against creators of this caliber. In my opinion, the single biggest chess match in
The Cavs got to come out here and impose they will. They got to come down. I don't like pick and roll as much, but they got to come down and get drive and oop opportunities. As long as we get in drive and kick, drive and dish, I think we got them, because I did sleep on the New York roster, man. New York they got Bridges over there. Even though whatever you want to say about the trade, they do got Bridges over there. They got OG. Hopefully his hamstring tripping. Hopefully his hamstring loosey goosey. Hart formidable. Hart formidable, man. He like R. Struce, but more proven on the low. But I don't know. But I need the Cavs to. I want them to win this first. And I'm not a gambler. Don't think I got a parlay. Don't think I got the mortgage on the line. Don't think nothing like that. Just I want to go to the parade. The last parade was one of the funnest experiences in my life. I want another one. And yeah, I'm gonna probably be one of them in there. Like, yeah, it ain't the same. This parade ain't the same. Remember the first parade? Remember the first? But no, I want the second parade. I'm sick and tired of us not getting the parades. This is the year. Y'all got enough pieces to figure it out. Let him finish telling us how raw the Cavs is. I'm gonna slow the speed down because I want to hear this. Shout out to Hoop Venue. Hoop Venue. He did the whole breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a fan. You know, I'm in media, but I'm a fan. He did the whole breakdown.
The series will be how the Cavs use Mobley to space the floor and how the Knicks counter.
Mobley's gonna be big. And I don't think Mobley's scared of the Knicks, but Mobley is going to be big. Mobley has to somehow, excuse me. Mobley got to somehow come out and be better than Bridges. He got to be better than Hart. He got to be better than Obi. Mobley has to fight for position for the second best player on the Cavs. And I think that gives us a chance. If Mobley is looking like the first or second best player on the Cavs, because it's like if you think Mobley the first best, you get scared. You're like, oh, something didn't go right. Mobley got to be trying to be like the best player on the Cavs. Mobley come out and do that, because I ain't gonna front, man. You played Atlanta. You played cerebral palsy Philly. I don't think y'all played nothing like this Cavs. You could say what you want about the Cavs defense. But what I've been seeing from them lately, yeah, but they've been playing good defense against not much offense. Damn, I get it. All right, Cavs, let's get it.
He is the guy that New York needs to tag rolls and take away the lob. He's a monster defensive playmaker, and they're comfortable letting Mobley take open threes. This is exactly what the Pistons did, but the Cavs counter by switching up their floor alignment. Instead of putting Mobley in the opposite corner, they started spotting him up one pass away from the ball. Not only is it harder to help from the strong side, it opened up the weak side for them to get creative. One tactic we saw them use was making Detroit's weakest rim protector guard the opposite corner. That could be Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert, or even Kevin Huerter. They know that's who's tagging the roll, which led to easy offense for Allen at the rim. The Knicks could run into this exact same issue. That's how the Cavs could attack Brunson.
Yeah, and they will.
Or even off the bench, McBride, Clarkson, Alvarado. In the event
I forgot they had Clarkson.
Protector, they were putting one of their best shooters in that corner. Now that defender has to decide between helping or staying home, forcing Cat to defend 1-on-2. Cleveland's greatest superpower is their ability to surround the ball with world-class shooting. They're one of the few teams who actually has more weapons than New York. Harden and Mitchell are both elite shooters.
Oh, you heard him? Hold on, I'm going to bring it back. You heard him? He said we got more weapons. Shout out the dog, man. Let me light them out. Shout out the dog. Shout out the dog. I can't count on all the weapons, but I feel like I can count on Miro. I feel like I can count on Struz. I mean, count on Dean Wade for defense, but that's where I'm at with it. But you heard what Dog said.
Is providing space for the other to surround the ball with world-class shooting. Defend 1-on-2.
Yeah, listen.
Cleveland's greatest superpower is their ability to surround the ball with world-class shooting.
Yeah.
They're one of the few teams who actually has more weapons than New York. Harden and Mitchell are both elite shooters. Whoever doesn't have the ball is providing space for the other. Strus, Merrill, and Tyson are three of the best shooters on the planet.
I'm tripping, yo. I forgot that Mitchell and Harden is elite shooters because Mitchell ain't been balling this playoffs. But he from New York. His mama gonna be at the game. You think Mitchell ain't gonna play good in New York? You got your rabbit mind. You got your mind.
I think they'll turn to those three over Wade's added defensive versatility. Strus and Merrill in particular are elite movement shooters.
Yeah.
Which unlocks another layer for this offense. Brunson has to match up with one of them. So what the Cavs will do is bring him into every action. That's another issue the Pistons ran into. They didn't want Duncan Robinson switching onto the ball, but hedging is nearly impossible when these elite shooters set a go screen and slip into open space for three. Later in the series, they were forced to just start conceding switches and living with the results, to which Mitchell and Harden cooked in isolation.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the Knicks approach this with Brunson. You can't let these ball handlers turn the corner.
Hold up, y'all can get some of this. Hold up. Y'all can get some of this. Hold up. Because what he's saying is fire.
Is bring him into air for this offense. Merrill in particular.
Look at the numbers.
Which unlocks another layer for this offense. Brunson
Look at this.
has to match up with one of them. So what the Cavs will do is bring him into every action. That's another issue the Pistons ran into. They didn't want Duncan Robinson.
Look at this.
But hedging is nearly impossible when these elite shooters set a go screen and slip into.
Look at that. For three. I didn't realize that. You see what he said about Duncan Robinson? Duncan Robinson ain't want to take the ball.
Switching onto the ball. But hedging is nearly
so look, doing that caught you a Sam Merrill 3.
In the series, they were forced to just start conceding switches and living with the results, to which Mitchell and Harden cooked in isolation. I'm not sure how the Knicks approach this with Brunson. You can't let these ball handlers turn the corner. You can't give up an open three. But switching arguably creates even more problems.
Yeah.
Because after getting a mismatch, they won't just ISO. They'll still those spread pick and roll plays. They're tough enough to guard with your best defenders. Now you have Brunson trying to fight through a screen against an elite pick and roll offense. Not exactly ideal. Regardless of what lineup the Cavs run, they raise the exact same concern.
That's the homie, y'all.
If they go to one big lineups, they can get another elite shooter on the court, making it that much tougher to send help. And anyone can handle the ball. You'll see Strus initiate some action. Shooter will come off the bench and run pick and roll with 40% shooters surrounding it. There's always a button to push and nowhere to hide. In many ways, it reminds me of the Pacers offense from last year. Everything is about locating the mismatch, getting them in space, and forcing the rest of the defense to collapse.
Yeah.
Defense all season.
Oh, so they took a page out of their book? Yeah.
They protect both the paint and the three-point
line. Pistons be balling, though.
Putting pressure on both. Can they keep the Cavs off the line?
Excuse me.
The Pistons couldn't do any of these things after game 2, and they were an all-time unit. The Knicks could go to more defensively slanted lineups, getting Mitchell Robinson on the court as an elite drop big, or Deuce McBride as someone who can pressure the ball and fight through screens. None of that
like
is the
Deuce.
core issue, though. I think even if the Knicks did a great job of neutralizing pick and roll,
Me too.
the Cavs would always be able to find a mismatch.
Me too.
And everything comes down to their decision making as well as their ability to hit.
They gotta make
There
shots.
are aspects of Cleveland's offense that should, for the most part, be neutralized. With OG on Mobley, inverted pick and roll shouldn't be an issue. You don't have to worry about him getting a mismatch.
We don't see how this go, y'all.
Because they're arguably the best defensive rebounding team in basketball, they shouldn't have to worry much about second chances. That's something the Cavs took advantage of against the Pistons. With all of that said, though, I don't know if they'll be able to protect the paint while defending shooters. I think they'll be forced to pick a poison, just like the Cavs have to do on the other side of the ball. And all that's to say, I think we're looking at a very offensive matchup. Things could get groggy if both teams go to defensive lineups, but I think we'll see two extremely high-level offenses operating at the highest possible level, which is only natural when you get a matchup between two of the best offenses all season long and in the playoffs. For the Knicks to gain an advantage, I think they'll have to find ways to get Mobley and Allen away from the basket, really lean into your spacing, which starts with finding ways to utilize Hart. I'd expect them to look for switches, get Brunson going against a mismatch, or force the Cavs to get aggressive. One way to do that is lean into the two-man game with Cat and any one of their wings. Another is to attack the offensive glass. Defensively, they'll need to find ways to help off of Mobley so that Cat can play the ball out of pick and roll. That way, they can protect the rim without giving up threes to elite shooters. More importantly, though, they have to find a way to defend the guard-to-guard action without giving up easy switches. Make Mitchell and Harden beat you with jumpers. On the Cavs side, they're going to have their hands full trying to protect the paint from off-ball screening action without giving up mismatches. That means finding ways to get Mobley or Allen helping at the rim without letting New York's best shooters get open. Force the offense to play in front of you. Make them turn to the two-man game or isolation. Protect both the rim and the corner. They need to make Brunson settle for jumpers, then close possessions on the glass. Offensively, they just have to play their game. Look for mismatches. Set up spread pick and roll. Find ways to get Mobley spacing the floor, to unlock the paint, force help from shooters, and generate open threes. Maybe most importantly, though, they have to do so while taking care of the ball. I actually think turnovers could be the deciding factor in this series. The Cavs really struggled with turnovers in both of the first two rounds, which not only eats into their offensive efficiency, failing to get a shot up, it often leaves the other team with an advantage to attack and transition. With how good the Knicks half-court offense is, you can't let them get fast break buckets on top of it.
Can't let them get no fast breaks. James Harden. James Harden, bruh. If James Harden tripping, we gotta bench him. If James Harden tripping, we gotta bench him, yo. We cannot have the loosey-goosey turnovers. He gave Toronto about 20 of them. He gave Detroit. We can't do the turnovers, James. We can't do the turnovers this series, James.
Forced turnovers this season, while the Knicks were more middle of the pack.
We can't. Look at these clips.
I just think they
This shit goofy. Yo, this shit goofy. Oh.
Advantage to attack and transition.
I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna play him.
You can't let them get fast breaks.
I'm gonna play him because
it's worth noting that the Pistons and the Raptors were both.
Look at Harden. Look at Harden.
While the
This shit crazy. Look at these turnovers, y'all.
As difficult.
Look at these.
Because
he's betting. I know he was betting on them 2 games. He was gambling. Them two turnovers was goofy. Goofy turnovers.
I'm expecting the Knicks to win the rebounding battle on both sides. And
I am too. I hope we win the rebound.
While taking better care of the ball, they'll be getting anywhere from 5 to 10 extra possessions a game. Which
we get the rebound battle, we'll be fine.
Considerably more efficient to gain the edge. They
get the rebound battle, we'll be fine. Their shot making across the roster is off the charts. Merrill crazy. Merrill getting and 1 threes now. I've had enough.
I feel more confident.
Shout out to Hoop Venue. Let me hop over to Twitter. Let me see if Felton started a space, man. Hopefully he didn't start a space. Oh, he said he was. He said he was, man. Phil, you ain't started a space. Phil, if you in here watching this, bro, start a space, man. I want to hear what the people got to talk about this, man. I want to hear it. Man, he ain't started a space. He ain't started a space. So look, man, we over and out. We out of here. I can't change the banner, even though I know I made it during the Toronto series. I ain't put none of them on there, I guess for a reason. But who gonna save Mitchell and Harden next? It's a call to the bench. Who gonna be on the bench? Who gonna be the next 20-point scorer off the bench? Or can we get two people with 17? You know what I'm saying? We can get, you know what I'm saying? Because we know who coming off the bench: Strus, Merrill, and Schroeder. Maybe Lil Dean Wade. Maybe that's gonna save us. That we for sure usually go 9 deep. And I don't know. I don't know. I need a dub tonight. I'm about to go to bed now. Get up, do some chores, make some dinner for my fam, take care of the fam, and then, well, I don't know. I might have to do some marital duties, but I'm tuning into the game for sure. I will see y'all for sure. I love y'all. Shalom, man. Real McCoy TV on all platforms. That's two E's. R-double-E-L. R-double-E-L McCoy TV. Man, I'm gonna have to start saying it like that. On all platforms. Type it in a social media platform. You're gonna get this Real McCoy TV, man. And go back and watch the playbacks, man. Listen, we have fun watching the game. That's it, man. Over and out, man. Get in the comments where you from. Who you got winning? What's your predictions? Who was your X factor of the series? Who got the best coach? It's so much I ain't get into because I'm too hyped for the game and life is busy for me right now that I couldn't even give y'all my best, but it's a lot we could talk about with this series. Mike Brown, former Cleveland coach. They ain't even said that yet. Mike Brown's a Cleveland coach. You know he want to beat Cleveland. Love y'all. Shalom.
Welcome to Real McCoy TV, where faith intertwines with daily life, empowering us to inspire positive change. Our mission is not just to share our story, but to uplift our community and celebrate authentic tales of faith and family. Journey with us and witness Cleveland's vibrant sports scene alongside heartwarming church events and cherished family moments, all showcasing our shared values. New content graces your screens every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday evenings, making it easy to engage with us on this enlightening adventure. We invite you to be part of the Real McCoy experience. Whether you wish to call in, join discussions, or collaborate, your voice matters. Plus, support our mission through Cash App, GoFundMe, or Patreon. Together, we create a thriving community of faith and support where every contribution counts.